It's me. Excuse me there. It's me, Light Spiller 79. It's my show. Glad to be back. I wanted to do a video response to a video that I saw the other day. I actually saw Happyconsolegamer doing the 40-year-old gamer. And that's funny because I'm actually getting ready to turn 35. Depending on when I release this video, my birthday is actually January 18th, and I was born in 79. And I've actually been a gamer more than 30 years. I've been playing games for the longest time. It's just funny, some of the videos that he does, I can draw a correlation between it. Because actually him and Rob, they've been best friends for years. And one of my good friends, his name is Owen, we've been best friends since I was 9. We played games together, and we've done we grew up pretty much playing some of the same consoles, the Nintendo, TurboGrafx-16, and many systems. I could talk about endless things, but yeah, I've been a gamer for probably more than 30 years at this point, and I think that's always been the drawing association with me as a person. People always known that, and I've always tried to understand what it is to be a gamer, in my younger days. But I guess some of my fond memories, or my first memories of playing games, was the Nintendo, and the Atari 2600 was my first system, and I remember being there for the moment for my cousin, even though he never really was into games. They just thought, oh, it was a hot item at the time, so they decided to get him a Nintendo, and they bought him a Nintendo, not knowing that it would never really be that big of a deal for him. And it was a big deal for me. I'm just trying to look at something here. I'm sorry about that, but it was a big deal for me, and so I got to be there for his moment, which came for me shortly a year to 2 years later. I had other friends who had a Nintendo, but they would never really. I only had a few that would let me borrow the game, but I would have to go to their house. And I distinctly, in the middle of watching his video, it brought memories to me of friends that I had to go to enjoy the experience that they were already having. And I distinctly remember a friend that I used to go down his house, and I would purposely spend the night at his house because he had Super Mario Brothers 3 when it was hot. Like, it was the product, it was the game at the time. And so I would purposely spend the night because we didn't have memory cards. You didn't have saving spots. So I would purposely stay the night at his house, and because I had to play through the entire game. That was before discovering the whistles and everything. So I would play through all kinds of levels, and eventually I found out about the whistles and stuff like that, and through Nintendo Power Books and all that, and other friends who would release those secrets and stuff. But I would stay up overnight and try again to beat the game, but never fully coming to that completion until one day I did finally reach the end, and I was up, and they were asleep, and they would be asleep and passed out. What you did as kids, you would pay and stay up all night and try to stay up all night, and you end up falling asleep, and it never dawned on me that there was a different passion in me than there was in other folks that I knew. I guess the thought never occurred that this was something bigger to me. This was something that I love to do, whereas this was just a pastime event for them, and it was just So I eventually did pass Super Mario Brothers 3. I stayed up all night, and I was standing up like a little zombie and trying, and kept dying, and eventually I passed it. And I looked up one day that I spent the night over his house, and I just happened to notice that the sun was coming up, and here I am playing. I don't even remember what world I was, 6, 7, or 8. I had played through all of them numerous times to where I had it mastered. I said I knew I could play this thing and I could beat this thing So I would be standing up all night playing the game and trying to play. And ironically, the same experience happened for me with Super Mario Brothers 2. You know, I would stay over at a friend's house because I didn't have it myself. And man, I start playing and start really getting into the game and start really diving into it and really giving myself over to this game. And I started using him for the same purpose too, which was actually one of my cousin's good friends. And I would stay over there, and they was like, why do you want to stay over here? And I was like, oh man, I just have a good time. Slash, I was really into the game, and that was really what was going on for me. So I eventually end up having the game myself. And one of the first games that I beat was Super Mario Brothers 1, but then another game that just stood out to me was Adventure Island. I beat that, but before that, like one of the major games that stood out was Mega Man 2. I just started playing it in any kind of order, and not knowing that you had to play it in a specific order. Nobody never gave me the order. I just started learning the weaknesses between each character, and I thought it was so cool that, you know, it was an open world game, one of the first games. And I remember showing my mother, I said, Mom, I beat it. I beat the game. And she was just like, what? And she was, you know, they were in the living room, or they were actually in the dining area, and I was in the living room playing the game, and I would constantly go at it and just keep going at it, and all you hear, and you know, I made it to, I beat all of them. I beat all the robots, and I was like, Mom, I beat all the robots, and I was thinking it was the end. You know, I had once I beat all the robots, then all I seen was a little spaceship, and Dr. Wily was coming across the screen. And I was like, what in the world? And I was like, oh, it's not over. And you know, I seen all these little dots connecting to his castle, and all you see, dun, 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 dun. I'm like, oh my God, I got another level to go through. And at this point, all my stuff is maxed out. All my powers are maxed out. Like, I got all my powers up. You know, I got all my powers from all the robots. So now I'm having to go through all these castles, or all these little areas, and I remember the first big boss that I had to play against, and you know, you had to jump across all these little platforms real quick, and it was just one little square, and all of a sudden this dragon comes behind me. I'm like, what in the world is going on here? And I beat him. I beat that, and I was like, man. And then I went through another stage, and another stage, and another stage, and then eventually I had to fight all the robots again, and I was like, this is absurd. This is crazy. So I had to spend a lot of time diversity. And, you know, when I reflect and look back, that let me know that I was up for challenges, that I was a big thinker, you know, and, you know, of course it lets you know that you were smart. That's one of the big understatements or misconceptions about gamers, that we're not smart, very intelligent. I mean, because you had to continuously go back, revamp, re-strategize, and figure out how you're going to beat this boss. So I had to go through all those bosses again, and eventually I got to Dr. Wily, and I kicked his butt, because at this point, you're just max level as far as in your head. Nothing's going to stop you, and I think that game took me about 2 months. I think it took me about 2 months to beat the game, because for one thing, I had to master out the bosses, and I finally figured that out, and then I had to master out that little ladder. There's like a little section where Mega Man's standing right here when you're first going into the Dr. Wily section, and you go up this long ladder, and there's a little connection right here. I had to figure that out. I kept using the 3, and then I was like, no. I was thinking 2, and then I was like, no. And I said, oh, it's the 1. But you got to spread it out when you first drop it as far as you can. And I eventually figured that out. It was all the little things that I started figuring out about the game. But fast forwarding into my life now, I remember having a memory. It wasn't even a memory. It was something that happened to me just the other day. I was playing Ni no Kuni, as you guys have known. I've been like diving in like real hard into the game. I'm about 30 hours in at this point. I think my character's maxed out at almost 30 at this point. And I remember when one of my family members came in and was like, that looks like a kid game. It looks like it's for a kid. And of course, I got offended. I didn't say anything, but I was just looking like, you don't even understand who I am, do you? This is not just something I just do to pass time. This is something I love to do. Obviously, with the collection that I have, you know, I'm at the point where I almost have 500 games. So I know that this is not going away anytime soon. And my nephews, my son, they always ask me, are you going to continue to do this forever? And I'm like, I said, I always joke with them. I said, I'll probably have a PlayStation 13 or 15, you know, whatever is out at the time when I'm 80 or 90 years old. But yeah, I can see myself playing games at that time. And now that I'm 35, I don't really see myself stopping, especially with having a YouTube channel, having a website to upload my videos to, Twitter and all social media sites and other places that I can go to, you know, and then I find myself every day, I listen to podcasts, I listen to YouTube videos, I watch all kinds of YouTube videos, all kinds of YouTubers out there. I'm always reading news every single day, just like a newspaper. I was catching the latest of what's going on in the game world, even though I'm more retro and I'm loving the retro stuff more than the current. I like to just hear about games in general, indie stuff, small gamers, small game developing companies out there. So I know this is not just a niche or a hobby, or, you know, this is engraved into who I am. Even my tag on Twitter is gamer in my DNA, and that definitely resonates with who I am as a person, who I am as a gamer. You know, even at my workplace, you know, in IT, I get to personalize my desk, and I have posters up, I have books up, I have toys up on my desk. So, you know, just like Happy Console Gamer said, he said pretty much fuck anybody who is not down with what I'm doing. This is what I love to do, and you have to understand that this is not just a game to me. This is my love. This is my passion. I am very passionate. I'm passionate about anything that can, you know, that is close to me, and being a gamer is very close to me, and this channel is very close to me, and I love it. But don't want to take up too much time. I just wanted to do a video response because my birthday is coming up. I'm gonna be doing a big party and everything, and I'm happy about it, and I don't see myself slowing down on being a gamer. Just like, subscribe, tell other people about this channel. Other than that, tell me how your life is as a gamer. I'm LifeSpiller79, and I'm out.